Hi everyone, today we're going to learn about solving simple equations, and those are equations that involve one or two steps. Before we get into solving equations, let's look at a review of BEDMAS. Remember that BEDMAS tells us that we do the brackets first, then the exponents, then division and multiplication as they occur, and then addition and subtraction as they occur. So in an example like the one above, if you look and see that you would have to do the multiplication before you could do the adding of 1 or the subtracting of 6. So we would have 1 plus 12 minus 6, or 13 minus 6, which would be 7. So when we simplify expressions, we do BEDMAS forwards. But when we solve equations, we're actually going to be doing BEDMAS in reverse. Our goal is always going to be to get the variable by itself. So in this case, x is being multiplied by 2. We will do the inverse or the opposite operation, which means we're going to divide both sides by 2. When we divide both sides by 2, the left-hand side is 2x divided by 2, which is just going to give us x. On the right-hand side, we have negative 10 divided by 2, which is going to give us negative 5. So for this equation, x would be equal to negative 5. This time, x has 4 being added to it. So in order to get x by itself, we're going to have to subtract 4 from both sides. When we do that, x plus 4 minus 4 will just leave us with x on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, 7 take away 4 will give us 3. So for this example, x is equal to 3. This time, x is being divided by 3. So to get x by itself, we will have to do the opposite of dividing, which is multiplying. So we will multiply both sides by 3 here. X times 3 divided by 3 on the left-hand side will just leave us with x, where on the right-hand side, 6 multiplied by 3 will give us 18. So for this equation, x is equal to 18. In this equation, x has 2 being subtracted from it, so we will need to add 2. We'll add 2 to both sides. So x minus 2 plus 2 will be equal to 8 plus 2. On the left-hand side, some zero pairs are created. So x minus 2 plus 2 will just be x. On the right-hand side, 8 plus 2 will give us 10. So the answer to this equation will be x is equal to 10. This equation will require us to do a couple different steps. 3 is multiplying the x, and 4 is adding to the 3x. So we are going to have to do the opposite of both of these operations. Like we said before, we'll do BEDMAS backwards here. So we'll need to get rid of the adding and subtracting to get the variable term alone first before we divide or multiply. So 3x plus 4 minus 4 is equal to 10 minus 4. Zero pairs are created on that left-hand side, so when we simplify them, we'll just have 3x. On the right-hand side, we'll have 10 minus 4, which will give us 6. So now we'll be left with 3x equals 6. And like we've seen in previous examples, when x is being multiplied by 3, we'll have to do the opposite and divide by 3. When we do this, we will get x on the left-hand side and 2 on the right-hand side. So x is equal to 2 in this equation. In this case, again, we'll have to do BEDMAS backwards. We'll have to get rid of the subtract 2 before we can get rid of the multiply by negative 4. So we'll begin by adding 2 to both sides. Zero pairs will be created on the left-hand side, so we'll be left with negative 4x. On the right-hand side, negative 10 plus 2 will give us negative 8. So now we're going to need to divide both sides by negative 4 to get rid of that multiply by negative 4. When we do this, negative 4x divided by negative 4 will give us x for the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, negative 8 divided by negative 4 will give us positive 2. So the solution to this equation is positive 2. Every once in a while, you'll get an equation that has a fraction in it. But remember that the fraction is the same thing as division. So this is actually x divided by 6 plus 5 equal to negative 1. So we can continue to use our BEDMAS backwards strategy in order to get the x by itself. we'll begin by getting rid of the plus 5. So to do the opposite of adding 5, we will subtract 5 from both sides. On the left-hand side, this will cancel out the plus 5 minus 5 and just leave us with x divided by 6. On the right-hand side, we will have negative 1 minus 5, which is the same thing as negative 6. So now we are going to need to get rid of that divide by 6. To do the opposite of dividing, we'll have to multiply. So we'll multiply both sides by 6. This will give us x on the left-hand side and negative 36 on the right-hand side. So x is equal to negative 36 in this equation. Now go do some practice solving equations. Don't forget to do the opposite operations and do BEDMAS backwards. Good luck!